Dayle, the host of the Awesome Music Show, and it's my pleasure to be your host tonight one more time for the Awesome Music Show. On a Friday, we have the Awesome Music Spotlight, and today we'll be talking about something that is equally as important as music, and we're going to be talking about poetry and also a very, very important event that will be coming up tomorrow in Kingston, Jamaica. So we'll be sharing some more information with you about that. But as always, it's another awesome day given to us by an awesome God to do some awesome things. And we are excited to do some awesome things with you today on this show. We're going to be having special guests, poet KIMO Campbell. We're going to be having recording gospel artist Prince Saj. And we have already online poet Antonia Valaire. I think I got that right. So she's on with us tonight. I'm gonna be just listening to some background music just for a few minutes until a few more persons join and we get to have them on the other platform as well. And then we go right into the interview. And also, we're going to be talking about the event for tomorrow. Very, very special event. And this is something I want you all to be a part of. So it's really, really a pleasure to be your host tonight on the Awesome Music Show. And also, the theme for this month on the show is passing on a godly heritage. And I'm hoping through all the shows that we've been having, you are encouraged to do better. It doesn't matter how well you think you might be doing as a parent, as an adult, as a caregiver, there's always room for improvement. And I'm hoping that through these broadcasts, you will be encouraged to do better. So tonight, we hope that you will enjoy the show. We crave your support. You are always welcome to put your comments or questions in the chat, and we will try our best to address them before the end of the broadcast. And we are looking forward to your support. So while we listen to some background music, we pray that you will join us and just give us your support tonight on this wonderful Awesome Music Show, the Awesome Music Spotlight. Thank you so much for joining us. So while we go live, we ask you to share the link and also share the page, like, share, subscribe, and let someone know that the Awesome Music Show is live on the YouTube channel Dayle Music. So awesome to listen to the serenading music in the background as we prepare ourselves to talk tonight to these wonderful ministers. Ministers in a different form, but really powerful, and the ministry needs variety. All of us can't sing, all of us can't play music. Someone has to do something different because that adds to the variety of life. And we are happy to have them on tonight. So as you join tonight, we look forward to your attentiveness tonight on the show as we talk to these wonderful ministers. And we hope that you'll be blessed as well by the broadcast. So we want to thank you for your patience and we thank you for being on the Awesome Music Show tonight. As always, I want to big up my mom, my dad. They might not be able to comment as we are doing, but we understand the limitations. But I want to thank my mom and my dad. They're always encouraging me when I do these shows, and God is just amazing. And for all those persons who have always been supporting, either through your comments, through your live interaction, whatever you want to do, and you're supporting the show, we really thank you for your support. And for all the persons who have been passing through the show as guests since December 2020, I really appreciate your support. And tonight is no less. We're just adding to the list of wonderful ministers who have passed through the show, and we are really, really happy to have them on tonight. So tonight is really, really, really an awesome time. How are you doing, my sister? It's really a pleasure to have you on the Awesome Music Show. Welcome. And how are you
Thank
doing?
you. Thank you for having me. It's my first time on. I'm giving God thanks for life and grace. I'm feeling very good, to be honest, because I'm
Mhm.
alive, so there is hope.
That's great. That's great. That's great. And we're connecting because I years ago, and we didn't get to talk about that before the show started. But years ago, I met poet KIMO Campbell in a printry. We were just there together doing flyers, and we just connected and we exchanged numbers, and the rest is history. This is going to be his second time on the show, and that's just how we have connected. He's a poet, I'm a writer. I write songs, he writes books, he writes poems, but at least we know we're still serving the same great God, great awesome God, and we're still serving in the ministry, and that is just so awesome. So, to be honest, it's really good to connect with different poets. Um, I've had several writers on the show before, writers of really awesome books. And from our little chit chat and from your bio, it really tells that you have been doing a lot of work. And we have so many silent heroes, and you're no less tonight one of those as well, because you've been doing a lot of work and your work is speaking for itself. So tell us a little bit about how long you have been a poet and what led you to start writing, especially poems. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, so I began writing poetry when I was age 10.
Hmm.
I want to say it's not I just began writing. It was just a thing that I did because I spent most of my time writing, reading. I read a lot of books when I was young. My mom is them overprotective mother there. Yeah, so I grew very sheltered. So I spend
Yes.
most of my time inside because I'm the only girl for my mom. So she has three sons, one daughter. So you know
Hmm.
them how them behave with them daughter. So
Yes.
and the thing is, I think my surrounding also helped because where I live in Pomor here, it's mostly people of a certain age. So I constantly heard people read because Portmore have like a giant house. We call
Hmm.
them giant house. So you
Hmm.
can hear your next door neighbor music. And most of the time I heard like people like Mota Baruch, DYCR. So I was inspired by those poets. And
Hmm.
yes, Miss Lou, the famous Miss Lou.
Yeah.
And then I did read books like Song Song. I don't know if you know that book, but they have like two Song Song one and two. I read those, and then I just began writing because there were so many things that was going on in my life as a child, but I noticed these things. Like sometimes people don't believe that children take note, like they notice things overall in
Right.
terms of things that are beyond their age. So
Yes.
unfortunately, my mom and my father they divorced, and it was turmoil and stuff like that. I noticed all the condition we were living in, and stuff like that. So I began to write based on what I was experiencing, how I was feeling as a child. Maybe I couldn't explain it no other way, other than just put words to paper, and
You know,
that's kind of how it, came about. So I just continued writing, and when I was 15, I I wrote a poem, Survival. I'm gonna hopefully I get opportunity to share that poem, and I said it in front of my classmates and my teacher, and everybody was from there, and people started calling me the class poet. So, like my classmates knew that I was writing, everybody was taking note that I was writing. And another time I remember my mom's church Sister Sophia, she read one of my poems and she was just weeping. And thereon, and I was a teenager at the time, and I was wondering, why is this lady crying over my poem? I didn't really fully understand, you know, um, how that touched her, because I was writing for myself. I wasn't writing, for people to read it, to see it, or stuff like that. So that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of, some backstory in my writing.
And that's powerful because I was watching, I like to watch interviews on YouTube of recording artists and even writers. And I remember one writer, he's a popular Jamaican artist. He said most of the hit songs that he has were songs that he wrote, not even thinking they were going to be even recorded. He was just going through a period in his life and he wrote those songs only to find out those were the songs that put him on the map. He traveled so many different countries singing those very same songs. So you just writing from your personal experience, writing, not thinking, hey, one day this is gonna be in my book or this is gonna be in the archives. That's even more original because you're just writing from what's flowing inside of you. And it just turned out that people ended up loving it, and that's really awesome. That's really awesome. So you started at 10, and by age 15, you started to do more. So about at what point you decided you think this is something you would do professionally because you're now a professional international poet. So about what point you decided, hey, I'm gonna do this on a more professional level.
So continuing the story and the age trajectory. So by the
Yeah.
time I was 17, I entered a community competition now. The church, they held it, and
Mhm.
I entered. And what's so funny, is that while I was going to church, right? This is not my church, it's my brother's church, and my neighbor, she goes to the church. So
Yeah.
she came to my mom and she was like, we have in VMBS. I don't know if you know about that.
Yes.
Basically,
Yes.
it's like a
In the
summer,
summer. Yes.
yeah. So she was like, well, it started, but you could invite Christina. It had started, and I think I went like the Wednesday. So it already started from Monday, so I missed out like 3 days already.
Yes.
And I went, and I was very shy. Very reserved. I didn't really talk much, stuff like that. And I went, and then, while I was there, they were talking about the competition. So on Friday, we're gonna have a competition, a talent competition. Who wants to enter? And so my classmate who was there as well, named Kamoy, he was like, Christina, I always know you're right. Like, why you don't enter? And I'm like, no, I don't want to enter. And he's like, oh, I'm going to tell the teacher you're right. So he went up to the teacher and it's like, she writes poem and stuff like, but she don't want to enter. So all of a sudden, everyone in the class, no, no. So I'm feeling kind of nervous. I'm
Easy
shy.
to
People
know.
coming to me. Yeah, I'm like, this to call me out. And so people are coming to me like, oh, I didn't know you're right. People who knew me in the community and stuff like that. So I was kind of like forced in a sense. And so I put down my name and I entered. And I was
Mhm.
like, okay. And I decided to do the poem Survival. No, I've never done anything on stage acting. I'm like, what does these people put me in? So I
Yes.
took my old clothing at the time. That was my uniform. So, I'd finished school by that time. So I was 17. And I wrote Survivor, paint my clothes. I don't know what I was doing, but I tear it up to fit the poem. And I went on stage and I stumbled. It was so funny. I went on stage, I stumbled, I put myself up and I recited this poem. And, there was a lot of children there and judges and stuff like that. And then on the day that they announced the winner, they called me by my name and I stood there in shock. I could not move. The same guy came out, he had won also. And he just held my hand and just carried me. And I was so shocked. And as he's walking me home, I'm still shocked. And I have this basket, and I got phone as well. I got so many things. I got certificate. So I carried it
Wow.
home. I gave it to my mom. And she's like, "What's this?" Because I didn't even tell her that I was entering anything. And she's like, "What's this?" And then, my friend was like, "Oh, she was so lovely," stuff like that. And after that, I started to think about it. I was like, "Craig, something is here," because I went up. I didn't know what I was doing, and people loved it. And by the time I was 19 now, I sent in my poem to Gleaner, and my
Yeah.
poem got published. And that's when it really hit me. I was like, it's no joke now,
That's
because
the
Gleaner,
same survival
Gleaner
poem,
is
right?
a big newspaper company in Jamaica. If they are
Yeah.
publishing my work, then And by that time I went to college. So I went to Excelsior Community College, and I met this young man named Javon, and he was doing a thing called rap. So he was looking at my work, and he's like, you could write in a different style, like a rap poetry kind of thing. And I
Mm-hmm.
and I did, and so that's how my style evolved eventually. I went on LinkedIn, and I was scrolling through, and I had myself to like one of those poetry groups, and I saw a poem called a Facebook poem by a poet named Alan Jankowski. He's now deceased, and I commented, and I just commented like, "Oh, I like the poem," and then he messaged me, and he was like, "Hi, I'm so and so, and can I add you on Facebook?" I was very suspicious. I don't trust people, so I was like,
That,
um,
that's the
I'm
norm, yeah.
there. Yeah, I'm there thinking about. I'm like, I don't know this man and stuff like that. But then I thought, I was like, I just started my Facebook, so it wasn't like I had any pictures up. It was very blank. So I was like, I shouldn't be worried. I added him, and then he added me to a group where I met a man named William S. Peters. So I'm journeying from him, and then they had a competition that they put out, like, send poems to this. They're going to choose the best. I sent in, I got through, and by that time I started meeting other poets within a short space of time. Before I
Mm-hmm.
know it, I met Brian Rickson, who is a Canadian publisher, and I'd been in his anthology, and he just reached out and said, "Hey, you ever think of publishing a book?" And I'm like, "Maybe." And he's like, "You need to get on it." And I started writing. I started basically putting my work together. I sent it to him. He read it. He said he loved it. He published it. By the time I was 21, I entered basically the Prime Minister Youth Award, and I ended up won. So from there
Wow.
on, yeah, so I was like, okay, this is no joke. This is real. This is serious.
Yeah.
Prime Minister Youth Award, it's the highest youth award in Jamaica. And I was
Mm-hmm.
very unknown. And yet I had around 8 judges. And, from all of them say, well, yes. And that's where it continued for me. So I really took it serious from there on. And from there
Right.
on, I published two other books, and then I've won like 5 awards. I've won spoken awards in Chicago, in New York, and I also, in 2021, I was nominated for an IRAMA, which is International Reggae and World Music Awards, in Mutabaruka section.
Ah, that's something more than something to be proud of. More than
Yes,
something to be proud of. I'm really, really enjoying just listening to the journey, and
yeah.
you're steadily building on your catalog. So you've gone about 3 books now, or three books now that you've authored.
Yes, I've authored 3 books, but I've been in anthologies. I don't really keep going, so probably gone 100 or more across the world.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. That's great. All right, so let me just pause to just say greetings to some people in the chat as well. Fluffy Kira, my sister, thank you so much. Also, Shanice Johnson, 75. Thank you so much for joining and for being a part of the awesome spotlight on this Friday. We are talking to Antonia Valaire, and she's an international poet and multi-awardee. And we're also going to be talking to poet KIMO Campbell and also artist Prince Saj as they promote a very, very wonderful event tomorrow in Kingston, Jamaica. We're going to be telling you some more details about that as well. Monica Cheese, Monica McLean, thank you so much, my cousin, for joining, and also my sister, Annette Thompson. Thank you so much, Annette the Gracious One, for supporting the Awesome Music Show. We're having fun. We're talking about poetry, and it's really, really good to hear a young woman from humble beginnings, just following her passion from the age of 10, 15, 17, 19, and the awards continue to grow, and her books, I'm sure she's going to be writing more books because you have a good start. And it's just amazing that you spoke about that simple connection on Facebook, which anybody would be suspicious of, because I mean, all kinds of people are lurking on the internet, and you'll be saying, hey, why is this guy reaching out to me? But you trusted your instincts, you followed through, and he could have connected you to several different persons, and you spoke of him passing, condolences to his family, and he
Mm.
made a good connection for you, and his legacy lives on. Just that simple connection is really, really
Yes.
doing good. So you stumbled on stage for that first performance that you creatively did. You went home with prizes and gifts, and you were encouraged. You also got the Prime Minister's Youth Award, and that is something that I'm sure a lot of Dominicans would be really envious of you for. So congratulations on that, and I'm hoping you will get more awards. Maybe not in the youth category, but there are several awards that the government gives out yearly. So I'm hoping that you will get
I'm
one
sure
of
I'm
those.
still youthful. I'm still youthful.
So can you enter the youth award? I mean, several times. I'm not sure how it works, but can you enter like over and over again, even though you have won already?
Maybe not in the same category, but other
Okay,
category.
okay. So we look forward to you winning in possibly other categories as well.
I
Well,
don't think I think I've passed the age limit, so I think it's from 15 to 29.
uh okay, okay. I understand.
I've
I
passed that
understand.
age.
All right, but you have been a part of several other books, and you're going to be telling us about some of those books as well. And you're going to be you said you wanted an opportunity to share one of your poems. I think that's the one you call Survival.
Yes.
Whichever you want to share, I'm going to give you a chance to share that before the end of the show. At least our viewers and those supporting us can get a taste of what's in your books, what you're going to be doing at the event tomorrow as well, because we look forward to this event being a success with poet KIMO Campbell and others. I'm going to be sharing some information from the flyer as well. So, in terms of the international connections that you have made so far, in terms of your books, your inspiration behind the books. Tell us a little bit about each of the books and the inspiration behind the book. Why you, in terms of the title, because you seem very specific with your titles and how you basically put things together. And it's really an achievement to see you, showcasing these books, and you are making history in a very positive way. So tell us about some of the influence behind your titles for the book.
Well, Pearls Among Stones is my first book, and it's the one that got me the Prime Minister Youth Award.
Mhm.
Really, it was inspired by Psalm 45.
Mhm.
You know, I believe I wrote a poem based on the scripture actually,
Right.
and I titled it "Pearls Among Stones." And,
Awesome.
and one of the lines that struck me, see if I can see if I can find it here. I think it's this part. I recite my creativity in royalty. But oh, this is the line. My tongue is the pen of a ready writer. So I read Psalm 45, I was just inspired by that scripture. That and Pearls Among Stones came out of that, really. I don't, but that's where the book itself came from. And so this is my first book. it's not under like a theme in the sense that it's not sectionalized. It's
Hmm.
all my poems come together because it's my first book, so I didn't sectionalize it.
Right.
So that's Pearls Among Stones. Then so I published Black Gold and Out from Babylon System Liberation of Mind same time. So they're, I published in the same time. Black Gold is really inspired about African themes, about Black people. So I have
Right.
poems like Majestic. It's one of my more known poems. It speak about the Black skin. It speak about our royalty. It's all this is sectionalized, and I also speak about myself, as in, I have a poem in there titled Stone Cold Sinner, because I was a
Hmm.
sinner at the time that I wrote it. So it was like a
Right.
pleading to the Lord. And I have poems that I
Yeah.
wrote about my brothers, things that I see that they're suffering from. I wrote about, my mom. And even though my father unfortunately abandoned me, I still wrote a poem, not speaking bad about him, but a poem that was, I hope that he will read one day, where I'm enabling him or encouraging him to be that king, to be that that role model for me, because I'm not married. And people always say that you look for your husband in your father, and if I don't have that relationship, I'm not sure what is it exactly I'm supposed to look for. So it's a very powerful poem, and so there's many sections to it. And I also recently released my EP titled Black Gold, which is based on the book. So I took a section talking about women, about beautiful women, about women being strong and stuff like that. My next book, it's kind of very radical, Out from Babylon System Liberation of Mind. This book
Hmm.
always, most people always think that I'm some Rasta or something. So I used to, before I became a Christian, people used to, because I hang on a lot of Rastas like that, and poetry normally have a lot of rastas. So, and
Yes.
I always speak very strong. So, this book really, as it speak out from Babylon System Liberation of Mind. So it's really talking about me freeing my mind of certain system or certain worldview that I see in the world. And
Right.
I speak about various things, about love, sex, black, everything that you can think about. Things that lead us astray. And at the time, again, I wasn't a Christian, but I always look on, things of the world, and how things can stray us, even social media and stuff like that. Sometimes we're on social media, and we get so caught up. So I write about stuff like that, things that are philosophical, things that are spiritual, things that people like to be drawn in terms of trends and stuff like that. I'm not really drawn into stuff like that. So people might say, oh, she's boring or stuff like that.
Old
But
fashioned.
I'm yeah.
Yeah, but that's your style. That's your style, and you're sticking. You're being true to who you are, which is the most important.
Yes. And that's kind of what my message is that people
Yes.
need to find who they are in a positive way,
Yes.
and, allow the Lord to grow them in that way, because all of us have destiny. And I really don't want to, I want to follow in the footsteps of the Lord to reach where He wants me to be. So I
Yes.
don't want to do anything really foolish. People make mistakes and we learn from it. That is true. But I do want to make intelligent steps. If I make mistakes, it's just, one of those things. But I really want to, put my best foot forward. And that's what I kind of encourage people to do. Try to be the best version of you.
That is awesome. Pearls Among Stones, your first book, inspired by Psalm 41. My
45.
tongue is
45.
45. Sorry, 45. Sorry. My tongue is the pen of a ready writer. As that book
Yeah.
got you your first Prime Minister's Youth Award. What year did you get that award?
So the youth award, in terms of nomination, the whole process, it starts in 2013, but the award ceremony itself in 2014. And just to give a quick backstory to show you how the Lord really is working, because
Yeah.
so while I was attending Excelsior Community College, I'd applied to UWI, right, and applied to do law, and I did not get my last law course. I failed, and I'd applied to UWI. I didn't hear back from them, and I didn't go and find out like what's up. So I
Mhm.
went to pre-university, which is on the UWI campus. So it's not
Yeah.
far from, so it's on the campus itself, to went and do law. And I spent a year there, and I never went and find out what happened. And then I had reapplied. And when I went to the office, the lady said to me, "You know that we had accepted you, right?" I was like, "No, but
Mhm.
you didn't send a letter, you didn't call." She's like, "What? Well, I mean, you already have the units of Cape. So even though you didn't get the law, we would have willing to, make you go in something else. You should have just come to the office." But you hear the story now. It's a good thing because that year that I would have gone, it would have been 2012, but I instead went 2013, and then I
Yeah,
met a young man named Simon Preston, who's a journalist.
I
No,
know
I
him.
didn't
Yeah,
know this young man. He was arguing with a classmate of mine because I did history, and they were
yeah,
arguing some historical points. So I intervened in the conversation. And while I got to know Simon, I showed him my book, Pearls Among Stones. So by that time, I'd published my book, and he was, going through it. And he said to me, "You need to sign up for the Prime Minister Youth Award." And I was like, okay. I didn't really know what it was, to be honest. I've seen it on TV, but all the time I see it on TV, I normally see they always get to the sports section. So I always think there are some famous people award because I see
yeah.
people like, Bolt and stuff, those people are always winning those awards. So I wasn't really too enthused. I was like, okay. And he sent me the form, I filled it out, he did some signing and stuff like that. And then on the day, so Monday, my neighbor, Miss Carolyn O'Connor, she went, and she went late, and then she went Tuesday, and Wednesday was the deadline. So by Tuesday, the night before the deadline, she sent in my papers, and that's kind of, so I just to show you, the timeline line up. Probably I wouldn't have met Simon Preston in the year 2013. you
To
know
tell you about the awards.
yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, a friend of mine just sent me a message, and he was telling me we were discussing a certain topic along ministry lines, and he said to me, God's timing is always perfect timing, and we might think we have the timing, we have it packed, we have everything locked, but God's timing is always different from ours, and His timing is always perfect. So I totally understand. So you may have been disappointed in some ways. I mean, not getting to do the 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 degree you wanted to do or finish your studies in law. But guess what? Something else worked out to your favor, and that's really awesome. I want to touch on a little bit of what you said earlier, though, and that's in line with the theme of this month, passing on a godly heritage, because you mentioned something about the your father being somewhat absent in your life. If you are at liberty to speak a little, tell us a little bit about, because I know that must have impacted you somehow in your writing and even in your personal life. And for this month, we try to encourage our young children, and we encourage even parents that it is very important to pass on a godly heritage to your children, because you just never know what they may become. So if you could just take maybe a few minutes just to highlight to our children how important it is for them to have their parents around, and not just having them around, but passing on this kind of godly heritage so that they can have something to bring over in the future with them.
Well, definitely parents are important. There's no question about that. This is God's design that parents must be in their children's life. That's why he made, father and mother, and because each one of them have unique roles. Or
Yeah.
I know that in this time now, everybody going who are over gender and gender roles and stuff like that. But mother and father do have a unique role in towards raising their children. And my mom always tells me of sayings. So charity begins at home.
Yeah.
In other words, everything begins at home. Your first teachers are your parents.
Yeah.
They are the ones that you look up to. They are the ones that you emulate. Sometimes subconsciously, you are emulating your parents, and you don't know the way you.
Mhm.
Because sometimes my mom look at me and she said, "Boy, you walk just like your father." It's in your genes. So
Yes.
there's
Yes.
remnants of him in me, and there is nothing I can do about it because because it takes two to make me, of course, with
Yeah.
God in the midst.
Yes,
So
yes, yes.
they are definitely important. And oh, my mom has raised me. I must give kudos to her. She's a disciplinarian. And sometimes I go to places and people might comment and say, "Whoa, you're so disciplined or you're so quiet." And I don't take note of it because that's just naturally how I am, but that's how I was raised. And then, I would say, "Whoa, I have to give kudos to my mom because she's the one who raised me that way." And so parents have a vital role in terms of what they teach their children, what they passed on. There's
Yes.
generational curses that have to be broken. There's also upward mobility and there's generational wealth. These are things that your parents pass on to you.
Yes.
Sometimes, you meet people and they have probably bad spending habits. It's not a case that they develop that. It's something that they saw their parents do, and they have you're not to blame their parents or anything like that, but it's what you see you practice. They always tell us everything that is their parents do, that's what they practice. And so it children really must obey their parents,
Hmm.
and it's good to have positive role models.
Yes.
People like to ask that question, who are your role models? And I would say my mom. And sometimes people are shocked because normally your role models are somebody famous. Or,
Hmm.
you follow probably Chronics, who is a good role model, or,
Yes.
or whoever it may be. But I always
Yes.
tell people my first role model definitely is my mother. And then, of course, before my mother, God. But the person I follow the most is her. And, she has, teach me a lot of things. So it's very important to learn so much from your parents and that they try to be the best parent that they can be. That's I can encourage. I
That
hope
that's
I've
that's
answered your question.
Yes, 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 you did, because when you spoke about your father, it just came home to me that hey, this is really something. And I know this affects uh, hundreds, I would say millions of children across the world, where either mommy is gone or daddy is gone, and they are still desiring. And one thing you said that I really admire is that even in your writing you did not write something bad about him. You still wrote something good. And you're hoping that one day he will read it and it will, send a message to him. And I'm hoping the same for him as well, because there's still a great need. And we hope that even through your writing, you will touch other fathers who are maybe going through the same kind of situation. So I totally understand and really, really appreciate your comment. Crown of Victory, Crown_of_Victory 7. Thank you so much, my sister, for joining all the way from LA. And we thank you so much. You were a guest on the Austin Music Show a few weeks ago, and we really thank you for your support as well. We're talking to international poet Antonia Valaire, and she is here talking about her books, such powerful books. She has won several awards, and we know that she's going to be winning several other awards. We were supposed to be joined by poet KIMO Campbell, but they're having some technical challenges. Also, recording gospel, international gospel recording artist Prince Saj, who has been making the rounds on social media. They should be joining us, but they might not be able to join us because of technical issues, which that's something most of us have no control over, especially when it has to do with the internet. So we're going to be talking about an event that will be happening tomorrow, and our very own poet Antonio Valaire, she's going to be one of the, I would say, ministers on that event, and we're going to be talking a little bit about that. And we want you to support this event in any way, shape, or form. It's going to be a virtual and face-to-face event, and there will be ways that you can support from wherever you are in the world. And we want to be talking about that as well. And we have been hearing so much about her books, Pearl Among Stones, and that's inspired by Psalm 45. And my tongue is the pen of a ready writer. That's one of the lines in the book. I love that so much. Black Gold, and it talks about the your black skin and so many other things about your race as a black person. also out of Babylon system. Um, Liberation of mind. That's such a powerful title, and I'm sure the content of the book is equally as good. And I wanted to support um, poet Valaire on her journey as she continues to write, continues to get awards, continues to collaborate with other writers right across the world and spread the word through her writing. Really, really awesome. So I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about this event tomorrow, and it's May 21, and it's called Poetry in the Heights, and it's a poetry festival, and it's put together by poet KIMO Campbell and friends. Let's bask in God's creativity. We're going to be having the MC is Jermaine Campbell, music by DJ Mark. The Poetry Festival is going to be at Carpenters Memorial United Brethren in Christ, Golden Spring, and that's in Kingston. Day sales and book signing begins at 3 p.m. and the concert starts at 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Refreshments will be on sale. The entry for this event is just $1,200. Entry and book or a poetic design 3,000, entry and two designs 5,000. Zoom access for this show, which you can support from anywhere around the world. So you're watching on Instagram, you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, wherever you're watching from, you can support this by seven paying just $7 or an equivalent of 1,000 Jamaican dollars, and you can be a part of this event. If you want further information, you can contact Poet Kimo Campbell 1-876-520-2750, or you can email cpoetdesigns at gmail.com. I'll be sharing some more of that information. But tell us about your involvement with this event tomorrow. And I'm sure you're excited to share in this kind of event with Poet Kimo Campbell. I've never been to a poetry event or a poetry festival. So this would be something really, really exciting for me. So tell us about your involvement in this event and any additional details that you can share about this event. You're free to share that as well.
Well, my contribution is just really supporting Chemo,
Mm,
being one of the acts on the show. So that's
mm,
really my contribution. I won't take credit for his planning and his team and stuff like that. So that's my contribution towards it. But it's not my first poetry festival.
mhm,
But I've been to other poetry festivals. Since you were saying that you're not sure about poetry festival, but there's a lot in Jamaica actually. So you have like
mhm.
the This Poem Festival in Portland, which is done by Rastakura, and then you have poetry festival by Yasa Safari. So there's couple
I was
poetry.
just about to mention his name as well.
But I don't know if there's much poetry festival by a Christian. Now that might be something very unique and different because the other poets that I just mentioned, they are Rastafaris. So
Mhm.
that most poetry festivals that I know are hosted by Rastafaris. But this, I think it's my first Christian poetry festival that I will be attending.
Okay, great. But it's really good that even if you are invited to a secular poetry festival, you would still go because the content is clean. I believe it's a
Yeah, it's
family.
very they're clean content. Yeah. They're very disciplined, very especially Yasa Safari is a very disciplined Rastafari. So, you
Yes,
know.
yes. I know a good amount of his work, and I've seen him around the place, and that's really good. And I'm sure your involvement with this will really bring some form of excitement, and I'm sure your contribution will not go unnoticed because you have a lot to offer. And
Mm.
I'm sure whichever time you get on stage, I'm sure you won't stumble tomorrow because that was your early days, but you're gonna be doing very, very well. And poet Kimo Campbell, he has several other items that he has as a business, and you can support. But other person that will be on the show will be poetess and author Sil Clark, also international poet Amaziah the Great, and also poetess Afro Christ, poetess Cadian Gale, and also live performances by international recording artist Prince Saj, also artist Alia Positive, international recording artist Jim Radical, know him very, very well. So several persons that will be on this event tomorrow. So you're not just going to be hearing someone reading from a book or doing some form of stage performance, but you're going to be hearing live music from these ministers that will be complementing the show. So wherever you are, you can be a part of the show. You can log on via Zoom and just $7 for that access or 1,000 Jamaican dollars. And we'll be sharing some more information with you about that. So we're almost coming up to a wrap on the show, but I'm sure you're excited to share some more from your book, or if you want to share that poem that you're talking about as well. Miss Positive, poetry in the highest, can't wait. Thank you so much, Alia Positive. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you so much for joining as well. And if you are able to, I believe I'm talking to the same person that's on the flyer. Let me know in the chat, and we can include you some more. And we really want you to support this event, Poet KIMO Campbell, and I'll be sharing some more of the other items that he has on sale as well. And you can go and support if you're in the Golden Spring area. Anywhere in Jamaica you are, because people travel from Montego Bay to Portmore to Sting. People travel from St. Thomas to Montego Bay to Reggae Some Fest and Jazz Festival. So come on, we can show some support for this brother and the wonderful set of ministers that he will be having on the show. All right, so you can go ahead and share some excerpts from your book and also that famous poem that you want to share with us tonight. You can share it as well. Really, really looking forward to hear more about that.
So I'll share survival, and I wrote this when I was 14. So you're going to
Hmm.
get into my 14-year-old mind what I was thinking about.
Yes,
And this is the poem that I stumbled on stage.
that's fine. That's fine.
So it goes like this. I was born in a city where there's no love, no unity. I was born in a country where disease and hunger bites as if a mosquito was sucking your blood. I was born in a world where my color means segregation. I was born in a land where hardship lies, where power means corruption, where killing means surviving. I was born in a home where one bed means five people, where one slice of bread means five bellies. I was born in a universe where surviving means giving up your life for the next generation to be free. I'm going to share another poem titled Silence.
Go
Let me see
ahead.
if I can find it. Not sure why I'm not finding it. All right,
But
I probably, let me see.
But in the meantime, the one you just shared is really powerful because as you said, you wrote from a real place. It's
Yes.
your life. It's something that you can relate to, and it's relatable to so many other persons who would come across your point. So that's really good. That's really I love that about it as well.
Yes. So I'll share this poem, Silence, and so silence. When was silence a defense? When did we start to retreat? Tell me, when did dignity and justice disappear? When did it not matter? Tell me, when murder was accepted? Why have you not spoken? Take a stand. Were you not watching the freedom fighters? Martin Luther King, Bob Marley, Rosa Parks, our heroes. Tell me, when was silence a defense? Am I alone? Am I the only one hurting? Where has everyone gone? Close mouth, keep silence? Well, no more. If I must be alone, I must to stand for truth, God's truth. not to withdraw. I will pay the consequences. Am I in fear? Sure, it's a human sensitivity, but it's through fear that we find courage. Can I withstand? At least I will try. But I guarantee that everyone will know that I spoke out and that silence was never my defense. Thank you.
Ah, so awesome, so awesome, so awesome, so awesome. Really, really love it. And you touch on some points that even recently I was telling, I think I was talking to my wife and I was telling her that a lot of people will see things as we go around this world and we turn a blind eye to it because we want to protect our lives, we want to protect our family. That's understandable to an extent, but you spoke of this kind of silence that people need to break, and you are determined to not let this silence cripple mankind and all these other activities that would do well with someone speaking out, and that's really awesome. I'm loving your work, and I'm sure even tomorrow on that event, I mean, having you live on stage with other ministers, I'm sure that should be really a treat. So we're looking forward to that event, and
Thank you.
it's really disappointing that we're not having poet Kimo Campbell on, but we totally understand and we represent for him just the same. Thank you so much, Miss Positive. Lovely poem, and trust me, her work is really good. So, ladies and gentlemen, we want you to look out for this event tomorrow, Poetry in the Highest, and we want you to be a part of it in Golden Spring, Kingston, at Carpenters Memorial United Brethren in Christ Church. For further details, you can contact Poet Kimo Campbell 1876 520 2750 or CK CK Poetic Designs at gmail.com. You can find all the details that you want from him and you can support that event. Other persons that will be on the show, Poetess Cadian Gale, also Amaziah the Great, and we have our very own Antonia Valaire, and also poetess and author Sil Clark. She'll be on the show. Poetess Afro Christ and poetess Kaden Gale. Recording artist, international recording artist Prince Sal. She has been making the rounds on social media. Artist Alia Positive. Thank you so much also for joining us. And also international recording artist Jim Radical. Also, we want to big up some of the sponsors here: Creative Arts Studio, Duke Beats, Jamaican Gospel Show, and several other sponsors endorsing this event. So we want you to be a part of it. You can join via Zoom or you can just take an evening down with your family and support this event. The signing of the books starts at 3 p.m. and the concert 5 to 8. So very early, you can have a very great Saturday afternoon with your family. Refreshments will be on sale. What's an event without great food, great music, great vibe, and that's what you're going to be having on the show tomorrow. So tell us before you go how we can find your books and to support your work, and you can share your social media details with us for those who want to contact you for other events and also to share in your ministry and your work.
Okay, so all my books are on Amazon. Also, I didn't share this, but I'm sharing that the end now. So this might shock the host. So Antonia Valaire is my stage name and it is my middle name. But Christina Williams is, my first and last name. So if you look up Christina Williams on Facebook, so that is
Mhm,
spelled Christena, you will
mhm,
find me on Facebook. You can also look for Antonia Valaire, and I also have a page on Facebook. And in
mhm,
terms of Instagram, it's Pearls Among Stones, so it's named after my book. And in terms of Twitter, it is World Class Poet One. The one is the actual number.
mhm.
And YouTube, I'm on YouTube, so you can look for Christina Williams or Antonia Valaire. My page will automatically comes up. So
Awesome.
Christina is spelled Christena. Williams. Antonia
Mhm.
Valaire is Antonia Valaire. So if you look for either, you can even Google it and automatically
They will.
things will come up. Yeah.
Okay, okay, great, great. So just to repeat, Christina Williams, Christena Williams, and you can find her on also as Antonia Valaire,
Yes.
Valaire. Just Google those names, and you will find her work. And her books are available on Amazon. We want you to support those books. We want to bless up Terra Teachers Consultancy for supporting the Awesome Music Show as well. Thank you so much for joining. We're talking to poet Antonia Valaire, and she's an international poet, writer, multi awardee. Very, very awesome story, very encouraging to young people. And we want them to be encouraged to know that it doesn't matter what you have inside of you, you can get it out on paper. I'm always encouraging even my son to write. Write down your ideas, because when you write those
Yes.
ideas, you can transform them into very, very, very great, great awards, just like you're having. And we look forward to more awards coming, not just from Jamaica, but from all over the world, because your work is going places that you have not gone yourself physically. And that's so, so, so great. So great. All right, Terry, thank you so much. You're always welcome. Even on the last minute, you're always welcome, because you're always uh, supporting the Awesome Music Show. This is a page that we want to support as a Third Teachers Consultancy. Very, very informative page. Any form of teaching jobs, teaching information around the world, UAE, USA, several other places, you can find that information on Third Teachers Consultancy. So thank you so much, Ter, for sharing. It's such an awesome night having you on tonight, Antonia, and it's
Thank you.
really, really good. I'm sure the supporters of the event tomorrow will have a treat when you hit the stage, and I'm sure that so many others will be blessed by the show tomorrow. And we want you to just have fun, just do whatever God has placed within you, and just inspire someone. I'm sure someone will leave the event, or those who are watching online via Zoom or other social media platforms will be blessed by the show. And it's really, 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 really good to have you. So we look forward to supporting your work. We look forward to having you back on the show, because there's so much more that we could talk about,
Yes.
even outside of poetry, that I'm sure as a young person you can impart to the younger generation. And the theme for this month, passing on a godly heritage. I believe that as this generation needs that kind of godly support, that godly heritage, putting things in place for them, instilling the right attitudes and values in them so that they can grow up to be solid adults. I tell my son, you might not understand things that we are telling you now, but when you get older, you will definitely understand. Because I went through the same thing. My mother, at one point, I thought my mom was wicked. I thought she was cruel. But sometimes when I look back on the things that she was really stressing and trying to get me to do, they have been a part of my life as a grown adult. And that's really, really, really
Yes.
awesome. Really, really awesome. So we thank you for your message tonight, your message of hope, your message of reassurance, your message of encouragement. Thank you so much for sharing, and I pray that your impartation of knowledge on the show tomorrow at that poetry festival will be really, really, really good. Thank you so much, Ter, and I'm sure you will enjoy the replay. And we should have had some more members on tonight, but I'm going to be playing one of Prince Sad's song before we end the show tonight, just to close. So take care. For it, and we give you kudos to being on the show tonight. Thank you so much, and blessings to you and your family. All right, all the best. Thank you so much. We'll talk. All right, so that was poet Antonio Valaire, and she was sharing in the awesome music spotlight. And we're talking about a special event that will be happening tomorrow. And what a story just to hear her talk about the many different awards she has won in the past, and even getting connected with different writers internationally, being a part of several other works that you can find on the internet. Three wonderful books: Pearls Among Stones, inspired by Psalm 45. Also, she wrote just an excerpt of that poem, My Tongue is the Pen of a Ready Writer. That book got her the Prime Minister's Youth Award in 2014. Also, she wrote Black Gold, and that talks about the black skin. You're supporting who you are as a person. And then she also wrote Out from Babylon System, Liberation of the Mind, being free in your mind about the systems in the world. And also, she wrote her first poem, Survival, at age 14, and that is still one of her um, noted works. So we want you to support her. You can find her on social media on as Christina, Christina Williams, or Antonia Valaire. You can find any of those, Google or any of those names, and you can find her. And all these books, you can find them on Amazon. So support Poetry in the Heights tomorrow, Golden Spring, and we want you to be a part of it. Right? Whether you want to be a part of it on Zoom, you want to be at a physical event, you are more than welcome. Poetry in the Heights, the Poetry Festival, May 21, 2022, at Carpenters Memorial United, Brethren in Christ, Golden Spring. Poet KIMO Campbell and friends will be putting on that event. Admission is just $1,200. Nice Saturday evening event for you and the family. Clean event. It's a Christian event, so you and your family can share in that event. And if you want to join on Zoom, you can contact Poet KIMO Campbell, 1-876-520-2750, or CK Poetic Designs at gmail.com. We're going to be having MC Jermaine Campbell and also music by DJ Mart. Several Jamaican and international artists will be on that show. You need to be a part of that show. Gonna be dropping something from Prince Saj before we end the show tonight, and we just know that he will be doing a very great work tomorrow on the show, and we want you to be a part of it. Just share in the show, share the link, and there are several other items that you can find on the website for Poet KIMO Campbell, and you can share in that as well. All right. Be blessed tonight. Be blessed tonight. This is one of the tracks from Prince Saj, and he will be on the show tomorrow. Poetry in the Highest in Golden Spring. So as we close tonight, we want you to be a part of it. Be blessed. See you on Monday for the Awesome Word of the Week, when we're going to be having another special guest in the house as well, and we want you to be a part of that. All right, so as we close tonight, Prince Saj, as he will be on the show tomorrow, Poetry in the Highest in Golden Spring. Yes, warming up the place. Prince Saj. Let's listen.
Me no care who want vex or who want talk. Ready back again and got a flow in me heart. Anyway me go me carry lot.
Lyrics non-stop. Lyrics non-stop.
If I feel it, but guess when me not got to keep me from jail, so me no go done conflict. Touch me the good soul, so me no go done bandit. I think encyclopedia them a pamphlet. Anyway me go, me carry the law with me. Tell me every day, prince, you have been me. If me ever get trouble, no, it not lick me. Tell me repent and come.
Sorry I couldn't have them on the show, but you can definitely watch the replay, and also you can join them tomorrow in Golden Spring. Poetry in the Highest.
We don't need no drama. Anyway, we go God in a me corner. Straight up Africa back to Ghana. And where them a go say no with me done faster. No one who a go vex, no one who a go down. Ready back again and got a flow in a me heart. Anyway, we go me carry.
Hi, Suzette Boo. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much.
Ready back again and got a flow in a me heart. Anyway, we go me carry lad in a me heart. From me heart, from me now heart. Ready up again and when we split the next chapter. Any on me sick a Jehovah and me doctor. House one bill and him and me contractor. One get him a fly in the helicopter. Gotta show the signs that him a be me antenna. When rain a fall and him and me umbrella. Him and me uncle me father. God him a fi me go better like a mice to a cheese. God a bring me the cheddar. Him say me humble and don't chase the leather. God time a go tell and things a get better. Oh my, oh my, oh my Lord.
Ah, so much lyrics, so much, so much, so much.
Which other God you must see mad. Me no care who a go vex or who want that. Ready back again and got a flow in a me heart. Anyway me go me carry lad in a me heart. Talk from me heart, from him me a bad. Now who a go vex, now who a go talk. Ready back again and got a flow in a me heart. Anyway me go me carry lad in a me heart.
Prince Sarge, live on the Awesome Music Show, Awesome Music Spotlight, Friday, May 19th.
As if faith, you know. So I say I'm faith and I must that we can move mountains, don't you? Just walk pray.
Support the show tomorrow, guys. Poetry in the Heights, Golden Spring. Ah, bless you, bless you, bless you. Prince Sarge, also Miss Positive. Thank you so much, thank you so much, thank you so much, thank you so much, thank you so much for being a part of the Awesome Music Show. That's just a snippet of what you'll be hearing from uh, international recording artist Prince Sarge, and he will be on that show tomorrow, and we want you to be a part of it. And we just had on the show poet Antonia Valaire. You can also find her tomorrow live on that show. Several other persons will be on the show, and we want you to be a part of it. Music by DJ Mark, so you have to check it out and be a part of it. So as we close tonight, I just want to thank you so much for being a part of the Awesome Music Show for yet another Friday. See you on Monday for the awesome word of the week. Wrapping up, and we have some wonderful shows coming up. Next week, Saturday, we're going to be having a show with a very, very awesome gentleman from Jamaica. He's a guidance counselor, but he has a very, very awesome story and a follow up to something that most of us saw on the internet a couple years ago. And we have a success story coming from that interview. So we look forward to that interview next week, Saturday, not Friday, next week, Saturday. So we're going to be having an extra show for that week. So we look forward to your support as well, and we will be publishing the time when we'll be live on the Awesome Music platform. So thank you so much tonight. You just heard a little bit of artist Prince Sarge. That's just a taste of the event tomorrow in the Golden Spring area. So support that, and you can find additional details 1-876-520-2750. My name is DLT. As always, it's another awesome day given to us by an awesome God to do some awesome things. Thanks to my family, my wife, and my family for joining online as well. And also to my mom, my dad, just about every person. I might not be able to call your names because you might not be showing up in the chat. But guess what? You are more than welcome to join us. Also, Crown of Victory from the Los Angeles area. Thank you so much for being a part of the Awesome Music Show. My sisters, thank you so much for supporting. Really, really. And as Suzette Booth rightly says, reality spoke. And that's really, really awesome. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your comments. And God bless you as we go tonight. Be blessed. Take care. My name is Dale T. See you on Monday, same time for the awesome Word of Week. We're going to be having a special guest. Take care. Have a great night.